Extreme Pursuit Smart Kayser has relocated in Alberta, but the goal remains the same. Get up close and personal with a trophy mule deer.
Both Nevada and Alberta, they're known for good mule deer. Now, in the high country in Nevada, the Ruby Mountains where we were hunting, we saw some whoppers. We saw some deer that really surprised me. I've studied Nevada mule deer, but that corner of the state I knew wasn't exactly a top producing area, but a solid area. There are some big bucks up in that high country. Now Alberta, on the other hand, if you've been following mule deer, you know Alberta is a major hotspot for big bucks.
But just because there are big bucks in the area doesn't mean the hunt will be easy.
Now if you're going to pull off a successful spot and stalk hunt, you need good terrain to work in. If you've got good rolling hills, mountains, or even steep hillsides, that's what you're looking for. The second thing you really need is wind. You don't want hurricane force winds, and you can get that out west all the time, but you want a good steady 10, 15 to 20 mile an hour wind, so there's a lot of rustling going on. So every time you put your foot down, your footstep is being covered by the wind noise. And finally, you need a lot of patience. A stalk could probably, on average, take between 1 to 3 hours.
Any blown stalk is tough to get over, but with strong, shifty winds, Mark is hoping for a calmer breeze in the days to come. But there's no doubt Alberta is full of muleys.
Corey was taking us from spot to spot where he'd been watching bachelor groups on and off all summer. It took us a while to find the right buck in the right setting to stalk, but it wasn't long before the chase was on. We had spotted a big muley up under a shady little brush tree. It took me more than an hour to get in on top of him, but believe it or not, and I still can't believe it to this day, I cut the distance down to 37 yards. Unfortunately, he was bedded in a slight depression in tall grass, no way for a shot. So I sat there and waited it out, and waited, and waited, and the deer got up. But he did not just stand up like I'd hoped. Instead, he got up, bounded around the bush. My mind went into overdrive trying to compute distances now that things were changing, and he stopped, looked back, and gave me one opportunity for a shot. I didn't know the range. I estimated that he had went about 10 yards further, cut loose the arrow. Did I misjudge? Probably. Did he duck the arrow? Maybe. Didn't matter. I missed the buck and he went up the hill and took off. Just one of those things. You gotta be able to think fast. And I thought fast. I got the draw off fast. I just didn't compute the right distance, I guess. And that's mule deer hunting in a spot and stalk situation. When it's time to begin your hardcore preseason shooting routine, you know, when you're really polishing up for the upcoming seasons, keep a lot of variables in your shooting. And the reason being is, hey, animals are just never in the same place twice. It's not like at a shooting range where you're standing there 20 yards, standing up straight, perfect form. That's great to do, but you need to get out in the real world, set up your targets so you have real world shooting scenarios. An easy way to do that is to invest in a couple targets. You don't need to invest in much. I've got my Glendale buck right here in front of me, the full rut version. That's my basic tree stand target. Now I like to set up on a hill, not up in a tree, for one simple reason, time. You don't have to go up and down, gathering your arrows, putting on your tree harness. Get a little exercise running up and down this hill. It's a lot quicker, less time consuming. My favorite way to practice though, it's with a block target. This block fusion, it stops any arrow tip or broadhead solid. Now the reason I like the block target is because it's got a nice handle and I can move it around my environment or a rough environment and shoot all these different angles. I can shoot across ravines, down hills, up hills, set it in the brush with a limb overhanging it. I can do this all in a matter of minutes. Try a variety of different shooting forms with your body, shooting angles with your target, and when that big buck or big bull steps out in front of you and he's looking at like a goofy angle, you're going to be able to handle that shot no problem.